Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Reverse Sweep podcast. Your favorite host is back, which is Piyush, and Piyush is with us up early, all the way from Raipur. We have got Siddharth all the way from London or Dubai,
Mm,
London, and we've got
London,
Siddharth
London.
Rehan all the way from Canada. So, what are we going to do today? We are going to preview the T20 World Cup, which is just starting in a couple of days. And we are going to look at Group A, which is not the group that India is in. But it's the tougher group, and we're going to touch up upon the IPL final. MS Dhoni lifting his fourth trophy, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, hello everyone. How is everyone doing?
Doing good, apart from the fact that you called me when I slept at 5 a.m. in the morning and
Hey,
you
it's
called
4
me.
a.m. here.
So that is fine, but that is fine. But that's fine. Sunday morning, it's good time to record the pod,
Exactly.
look at MS Dhoni masterclass, and as we predicted in the last pod that Virat Kohli will bottle yet again, and eventually he did.
That's like saying water will be better.
Yeah, so what happened after our last podcast was Kolkata Knight Riders played a great game against first RCB, restricted them to a 130-ish total, got there easily, faltered a bit, and then finally finished off the game. Then against DC, similar game again, where they had it won, and then they faltered again, and then it required
but
Ashwin
some
Masterclass.
seam
but it
bowling
was
from
good.
Ashwin
It was
and
good to see KKR losing the moment they stepped out of Sharjah. As
Sharjah
someone
Knight
said,
Riders. Sharjah.
Sharjah Knight Riders.
Everybody बाहर आते थे दिन भर हमेशा.
haters first claim their team to be so good that they are top of the table, and then just because of a venue they lost, and that too were
Then you
losing.
hand toss.
That's all part of the game. Anyway,
17 full
the
crores.
KKR then went to Dubai to play Chennai Super Kings, and Chennai Super Kings, obviously, the much stronger team, the much more balanced team, got 190 plus batting first, and then KKR just could not chase it down. So first, let's take our thoughts on the IPL final. Dhoni winning the fourth title. What do you think about that, Siddharth Trian?
Yeah, I think like as he's shown time and time again, I think he's definitely by far the greatest limited overs captain I have ever seen, and I'm sure I I think like the side Chennai had on paper, to be honest, they did not have much business winning the IPL just by this dominant fashion. Like Gaikwad before the season started was a youngster who Dhoni said did not have spark. Like less than a year ago, Faf du Plessis, 38 years old, not picked by South Africa. And then a lot of the Robin Uthappa was in deep freeze until qualifier one, and then he faced two brilliant innings. Moeen Ali is not a T20 superstar either, and their bowling attack either is Josh Hazelwood, not a T20 bowler, Deepak Chahar, pretty one-dimensional. Shardul Thakur has seen his stock go up and down. DJ Bravo, a lot of people thought he was finished as well. So I think like we see time and time again that certain captains mess up even with a galaxy of T20 superstars, and that Dhoni has done it with a team that people thought was Dad's Army. People made so many jokes over this mega auction. They were cycle, they were one run off winning three titles,
Hmm.
and they actually ended up doing better than the team who some people thought that was the greatest collection of 11 T20 players at the same time, Mumbai Indians. So I think like Dhoni deserves all the credit for that, and I think like that's how you can judge a captain's performance, like not by win rate and all that stuff, but how much like a captain can make the team overperform. Kohli winning test in India means nothing. Like I could probably do that with that against the level of opposition to it. Like when you make the team overperform, like Rahane did in Australia, that's where I think you see captains to medal, and Dhoni has shown that time and time again that he can
Yeah,
make random
yeah.
players over.
Piyush, what are your thoughts on Dhoni's captaincy and Ambani Indians finishing fifth and KKR reaching finals?
You should probably talk when your team lifts 5 trophies. So till then, I think we should keep that
Yeah,
argument
if you
aside
if you count only fair trophies, then it's 0 and 2. So
okay, cool. No, but coming jokes apart, coming to the finals, I think
mm,
one of the major factor that Chennai Super Kings got that score was that Robin Uthappa inning. At a time they were 65 or 64 for whatever in 9 overs, I believe. And
yeah,
when Robin Uthappa came, he scored some 32 or 15 or
yeah, it
something
was
like that.
31 of 16 or something. It was a slow start, and
Yeah.
then Uthappa came in and
Then and Uthappa like completely changed the momentum towards CSK. And I think KKR did a mistake because it was not a similar wicket of Sharjah where it was slow and they could chase it down in the second innings. I think it's always better to put runs on the board, and knowing the fact that apart from your top three, your batting order has been pretty crap. Like if you remove Venkatesh Iyer and Gill
Gil
and
Rana.
Rahul Tripathi, no one has
Tripathi
even.
pretty much was out for the
Yeah, Tripathi got injured.
yeah,
But the fact was, in the second leg, I think apart from the three batters, no one even had back-to-back 20 ka score. I believe is what I know. Like a
But I think
Morgan
in the
flop.
whole of IPL 2021, KKR won all their games where they chased. So I think that obviously taking that into
Yeah,
confidence. They probably
but
did that in the
but but
finals.
They won
but
every single toss in the playoffs as well, I think.
yeah, but I still feel like against
For 0.5
in a final when you have
mm,
the run board pressure and also
you also
knowing the
always
fact that
put
you
the
have
runs on
MS
the board.
Dhoni in opposition, like, and with the bowling lineup and with the variety CSK have got, it is not practically easy to chase down a total if they have got a big one. You can always chase on odd days, but 9 out of 10 I'll back CSK to defend big 170, 180 totals. And that too in the finals when you have MS Dhoni and when you have the variety. So I think KKR did little mistake, and it was about time that KKR got exposed because they got carried due to their bowling and their top three performing. But their middle order, they have good players, but no one had performed. You say Narayan, Morgan, Karthik.
3 matches in a row that their middle order basically had
Yeah,
zero contribution.
yeah, Shaki, whatever. So I think CSK were the deserving team. They were consistent from day one, from the Indian leg till the last day in the UAE. People might have ruled them out before the series, but with CSK, they don't have T20 explosions, but they are players who can do their job, do their role on the given day. So I
Mm.
think it was a pretty deserving final and deserving winners, I would say. And it will be interesting to see what they do with mega auction. Will they, after a brilliant performance with Ruturaj Gaikwad, will they be tempted to retain him because the lack of good Indian openers, and
They will.
what he has
They
shown
will.
is
Yeah,
he was quite mature. So yeah, so I believe interesting days after World Cup will begin after the retention policies and all come. But yeah, it was a good final, I believe.
yeah.
Good
Interesting
show
that
of
you say that with
character.
CSK getting like 1200, 1300 runs from their top two, and still here we are talking about CSK's middle order. I think CSK were
Even
any.
when CSK, like their top order, like even aside from top order, their middle order chipped in at crucial times. Like Uthappa
Hmm.
played that innings in
Yeah, I think
qualifier
Uthappa's
one. Pune
inclusion
finished it off.
was a big change.
Raidu had, I think, a
Raidu
160
played
plus
here.
strike rate, and they didn't need
Jadeja
him.
was amazing. Jadeja's finishing was amazing.
Yeah,
I think
Jadeja,
big plus.
In
probably the best.
first leg, Jadeja scored very well in few of the games, and then
Yeah, Jadeja,
you
even in the second leg, like the group game, whenever he got the chance, he was
yeah
probably the best finisher. So
no
whenever
But
the
it
the
the
was
the,
it was
middle order
very
the
got the
difference
chance,
between
he did well.
the difference between CSK and KKR, what I was saying is KKR middle order got chances in almost all the games, but
Hmm.
CSK didn't get that chance to finish the game or to close the game. Middle order is what I'm saying. But whenever they did. Like you say, MS Dhoni won them the match. Jadeja won them the match. Raidu won them the match. But that was not the scene with KKR. So that is
11,
where
11 different man of the matches for CSK, by the way, in the
Yeah,
tournament. So
now, unlike
11.
unlike say
11, yeah.
NRC, they were not relying on
In
just
16 games,
individual
there were
But
11
brilliance.
different man of the matches.
Was this the first time that both like you if you consider Ruturaj Gaikwad in uncapped, like although he played in Sri Lanka, but keeping that
When
Technically
aside,
he
started with
started, he was
the
uncapped. Yeah, I think this is the first
yeah,
time ever that
technically both orange
an
cap and
uncapped
purple
player has
cap.
even won either
orange
cap.
cap,
I can't
MVP,
recall.
and the purple cap. All three started as uncapped players in this IPL.
I can't recall even an orange cap or a purple cap alone.
Who got the MVP award? Gaikwad.
Harshal Patel.
Harshal Patel.
Oh, Harshal Patel got MVP
Uh,
also.
Harshal Patel got MVP, purple cap, game
But
changer.
I find it stupid that MVP points पे देते हैं, like वो game जो
हाँ,
भी
it's
But I guess
fantasy
if they
points,
want to make it a
like
bit objective, I can see the merit in
yeah,
that.
but
or they
but
want
I'd
to
rather
give,
You
have
can have the
MVP
or
like
they
question.
giving
want to
like
take some money from Dream 11 and sponsor their points.
exactly like the
Either of the
commentators should give
two.
their own judgment or like something like that
But
rather than like
फिर वही
giving it on fantasy
subjectivity
points.
में it, but their point system is also very weird. Like they give points for
Exactly.
dot balls, fours, and sixes, but not runs.
Yeah, I think they should get back the Man of the Series award, which
Yeah.
was happening, and instead of the
But
MVP.
then
Russell,
again,
So
it's the
like,
world of
Stokes, and all
sponsorship
these
and
got
money,
one.
so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Siddharth, and we'll close with you. What were your final takeaways from the IPL, and then we'll move on to the big T20 World Cup.
I think that if there's one team to go from eighth to first, like it has to be like CSK, right? Dhoni. I think one interesting fact in the final was that I was really like impressed by his captaincy because KKR were cruising at 88 for zero, and I think he still hadn't bowled like Jadeja till then, and he kept Jadeja for the end for the lefties, which worked perfectly. And in the entire tournament, if I'm not wrong, he didn't bowl DJ Bravo in the first 10 overs. Like,
Yeah,
not entire, but maybe in most of the games. And coming to the final, like out of nowhere, DJ Bravo comes and bowls 2 overs in the middle and like slows down the run rate
that
massively,
started the slowdown.
which I thought was, yeah, exactly, which I thought was a great decision. And that's something
two
like
overs
you
for
have to
eight.
be bold like Dhoni. Exactly. That you have to be bold like Dhoni. Like in the playoffs, like being a Delhi fan, I saw Pant's inexperience, right? Because like the bowling changes just did not work. He tried, like when he was under pressure, he still tried doing the same things he did in the entire group stages, which did not work at all. But Delhi are a completely different story. But yeah, in the entire IPL, I think the biggest plus point has been the Indian batsmen, like Indian top order batsmen. I think Padikkal, Ruturaj,
The Indian bowlers have been super.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
Indian bowlers as well, Avesh Khan. I was surprised to
Harshal
see some of the
Patel,
net bowlers,
Shami.
like yeah, some of the net bowlers being randoms. I would have liked to see like someone like Chetan Sakaria giving like being
Yeah,
a net bowler
Things
rather
like
than
both
rather
orange
than
cap
the
and purple cap top 5, 8 standings were dominated by
yeah
Indians.
yeah. But
but
overall,
most
I
of
think it was
those
a
people
great
are
season
not
for
in the Indian lineup for the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's
I think it was
always, yeah.
that's a
yeah.
different matter.
I think it was
Anyways,
a great season for Indians and for BCCI in general to complete the IPL because I think in general, like the political power of BCCI, they had a big pressure on them to to complete this leg of the IPL.
hmm,
So I mean, it went smooth, and I got to watch 2 games, so it was all good.
yeah, you would have seen on the Instagram channel live
And
from
yeah,
Dubai. Those two games KKR won, I think. One of them KKR won, of course. Anyway,
but
so move.
everyone forget to mention the living
My one
legend
game
Shardul
outside of
Shardul
Sharjah.
Thakur.
Yeah, Shardul Thakur has been sensational. I mean, death taxes and Shardul picking up 2 wickets in 1 over to turn the match. Anyway, let's move on to the big one. 5 saal, 5 saal ho gaye, the last time the T20 World Cup
5.5.
happened. So it's actually a lot of excitement because मतलब usually 2 साल पे वर्ल्ड कप आता है, you know, कि 14 नहीं, 16 नहीं, 18 आएगा, but this time there has been a substantial gap between the T20 World Cup.
Almost closer to a 6-year gap than a 5-year gap
Yes,
because it
and
was all the way
Watch
gone.
our 2016 preview. We made a preview.
yes, yeah, review 2016 review. But anyway, the
Review.
point is that this is probably one of the most tough to call World Cup for any analyst or anyone watching because there are so, I mean, everyone has a strength, everyone has a weakness, and I mean it's going to be very very close. I hope the pitches that we saw towards the end of the IPL, the ones that were giving runs, I think they were the ones that they might be using in the World Cup. It's starting today in Oman, from 3:30 p.m. India Standard Time. I think Oman play Papua New Guinea in the first game, the qualifier, and then Bangladesh play Scotland for the qualifiers. So we are not going to cover that. We are going to cover the group stage, and we are going to talk about the Group A, Group B, who are the potential joiners from there, and we are going to focus on Group A today. So first of all, any opening thoughts about the T20 World Cup, guys?
Yeah, I also think like it's really open in the fact that I can see any of 6 teams winning it, and it would not be the biggest prize. Usually in a World Cup, you have like 2 or 3 front runners and then like dark horses. But I think like this is one of the most open fields that I have seen. So yeah, that's like any like I wouldn't be surprised if like 6 teams qualify or they get knocked out in the first round. So like yeah, like with especially with the format, there's going to be no scope to net up. Like you lose 1 or 2 games that you're not supposed to, and that could be an early exit. So it's going to be really exciting.
The format is again very, very close to the 2007 cricket overall. I mean, 50 over World Cup, where
same as the 2016 one, just an extra team in the Super.
An extra team, but because of how the teams are balanced and how only 2 teams from each group goes into the final, semi-final basically, then it makes it very, I mean, almost a sudden death. So let's quickly go and let's go over Group A, which is going to be England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies. The topper from Group A from qualification, which is Sri Lanka, Ireland, Netherlands, and Namibia. We expect either of Sri Lanka and Ireland. I don't know about you guys. I expect Sri Lanka to be there as and then the runner-up from Group B, which is going to be between Bangladesh, Scotland, Papua New Guinea, and Oman, which is probably going to be Scotland. Yes. So let's have a look at the scores. Let's start with Australia first. Aaron Finch captaining, Ashton Agar, Pat Cummins vice captain, Hazelwood, Josh Inglis, Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Kane Richardson, Steve Smith, Mitchell Stark, Marcus Stoinis, Mitchell Swepson, Matthew Wade, David Warner, and Adam Zampa. So that is the Australian squad. What do you think about Australia, guys?
As I predicted, like I'm not saying they will, but Australia, no matter what squad they have in World Cup, they do find their extra second gear. Like with India, it's the opposite. Like we have the
India
greatest
has the
squad,
extra
but
gear until it reaches the knockout stage.
yeah. So one team which I never rule out in any of the World Cup, irrespective of their squad form, is Australia. Like I always count them in, and I think they have good T20 players. Like Maxwell is in form. They have Stoinis, and they have, I think, one of the players that will perform well is David Warner. So
yeah,
I
a lot
think
to prove. David Warner has a
lot
lot
to
of
prove. And you know his
What to
potential.
earn
Like,
in the mega auction with a performance.
yeah, on his day, like I think he's still one of the best openers out there in the world. So I think Australia's squad overall looks balanced. I don't know who are the spinners in their squad. Zampa.
Ashton Agar,
Swepson,
Ashton Agar and Swepson and Zampa.
Probably Agar and Zampa.
Agar and Zampa might play. Yeah, that's the 2 spinners that they'll play.
So also it depends on how the pitches will behave. So if you look at last year IPL, and if the pitches behave in the same way where the ball is swinging in the first few overs, like how Mumbai exploited that with Bolt and everyone. So if that happens, it will be a very beneficial play for Australia, who believe in who have good pacers. You see Hazelwood, Cummins, Stark. They have a good set of pacers, and I think it's a pretty balanced squad. I think they might reach till semi-finals, and if they perform well, they are one of the favorites to win the World Cup as well, according to me. Like not many people will have them in their list, but I definitely have them.
I think
interesting.
I think the weakest is the middle order. I think because the middle order is very shaky, like compared to every other T20 World Cup before. Like any other Australian squad, I feel they give me very like similar to KKR vibes, the KKR current team. You know, like I feel they have a reliant top order, but their middle order is
really depending on Maxwell.
Exactly, like
so the middle order is going to be what? Mitchell Marsh, Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell, Matthew Wade, and
Carey,
Stoinis probably. Yeah,
Carey,
that's not
Adam,
I
bad.
Carey,
think
Wade,
it
yeah.
probably will be Agar instead of
It's a
Stoinis.
very hit and miss. I think if like one hits, then second will also hit. But they can also have like 4 ducks in the middle order on like
I
on the
think
bad
like the
day.
biggest problem is the wicket keeper spot because neither English hasn't played a T20 international. Wade is a top order batsman and there's no slots in the top order. So
And
essentially
yeah,
that's going to be a dead spot in the middle order.
and I don't think
So
Finch.
that
I
might
don't know
not-
when Finch last played. Like I don't know when he last played the T20
He also
cricket.
had some injury
So-
concerns. He just is fit
Exactly,
now,
and
but
Warner's out of form, and I'll be interested to see what role Smith plays because I feel like in that middle order where except Maxwell, I think everyone takes a bit of time to like just come in.
Mhm.
So
and Mitchell Marsh said he wants to play at 3. So
I would like to see Smith in a
Yeah.
more aggressive version.
I think that what we're
Um,
showing is the expected 11 and bench. What is it going to be? So I think it makes
But,
it easier for the viewers. Yeah.
I was reading on Twitter like Steven Smith's strike rate for Australia and T20s are in the last 1.5-2 years is over 145.
yeah,
So
they've been pretty good for Australia in T20. Even in one day, he scored 250 ball 100 against
no, I'm
India.
just basing it on recent form. Like I'm just basing it on recent form and going on the pitches. I think UAE has a very different setup. Like I feel like it's not the
This
same
would
like
be suited
run
more to
scoring
the
vibe.
playing.
It's not
I
the same
think
run. You
I
won't
think
find
one big problem that I see for Australia is they would probably need like what 4 overs from Stoinis every time if they don't want to
I
bowl
would
Maxwell.
imagine. I would probably imagine that Hazelwood would play instead of Stoinis in that lineup because with
But then,
Agar, Cummins,
but
and
then,
Stark all
yeah.
capable of batting, I think they would go for the bowling
Yeah.
cover that
Yeah.
he
But I think
provides. But
what Siddharth said, the middle order looks quite fragile. Yeah, Siddharth, go on.
And no, I'm just saying, yeah, I think I agree with like other Siddharth that Hazelwood will come in. I think in general because
he's been
if
in
you look
great
at the
form for
lower order,
Chennai
they
as
have
well on the
Agar
same.
and Cummins to like finish games. Like if you need like 20 of the last 2 overs, you can't rely on an Agar. I mean, like it's like two in 5, 2 in 10 games he might win in the game. But I think
Even
the middle order,
Stoinis
yeah.
is usually, other than last IPL season, not been the best of finishers.
And
He's
every
also
time Stoinis
more
scores, he
religious
pulls his
staying top
hamstring. Like every time Stoinis bowls, he pulls his hamstring. So nothing special.
DC fanboys hurting.
But they have comments as well who can really bat decently well.
Cummins
Agar
has
is a
become
proper
a.
all-rounder.
But
Stark
Mitchell
can
Marsh
hit
at
along
3. I mean, obviously, I know he did great in West Indies,
Yeah,
but
I would personally have him at 5. Smith needs to bat 3. Maxwell needs to bat 4. I think have your best batsman up top. I mean,
I feel
he did well when nobody else was there.
I feel Mitchell Marsh roles will be clear that he has to anchor one end, which will allow Maxwell, Wade to like just start from ball one.
But then
And
why
like
play Smith if you
Yeah,
are
Smith
asking
could do
someone
that
else?
better.
but I think Smith as Piyush said, Smith has striker 145 plus. So I think his role will be a bit more aggressive because I do not see Mitch Marsh going from ball one because he's just not that type of player. But let's see.
But he did really well against West Indies, which brings us to West Indies, the next team that we're going to cover in this group. And my favorite, I mean, I really like the way England, West Indies these days play, which is
Why have you
fearless.
put Ravi Rampal in the 11?
Because he was great at
He was one of
against
the
the
best
CPL. He had a outstanding CPL,
But
and
I
they
would
don't really have
imagine
options
if the
there.
pitches are turned like
You really start.
winners, then Hayden was junior might.
Yeah, I mean Ravi Rampal was anyway. Let's look at the team. I mean Lewis Simmons. I don't think there's any change there. Maybe Spiceman Fletcher can open if
He's
needed.
in pretty bad form, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's always in bad form. I mean, but he has that ability. Gale, Hetmeyer, Puran, Pollard, Russell. I mean, that 5 is going to be. I mean, on their day they can actually
even
hit
Allen
300.
and Bravo. It does not end.
Yeah, actually, even Fabian Allen and Bravo. I mean, this is a scary lineup. If they get their act together like they usually do in the T20 World Cup, West Indies would be very, very tough to beat. I mean, your thoughts, guys?
I think a lot of people are telling West Indies will do good, but I just have a feeling that this World Cup they would choke, is what I feel. Like they have a good all-star studded T20 lineup. You see Lewis, Simmons, Gale, Hetmeyer, Puran, Pollard, Russell. So that's like capable of scoring 300, 400 in a T20 game as well. But I think if the wickets do turn, they do play the spin well. But I think
Gale, Hetmeyer, Pooran, probably one of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Pretty
but
good.
I think
The only yeah, sorry, Piyush, go ahead.
yeah, but I think if the pitches are little slower, as we have seen, they might struggle because
Mm.
they are someone who needs little pace. But I think I just have a random gut feel that West Indies
Vibes.
might just choke and they might not even reach to semi-finals. Is what I feel.
I
I
think
think I
one
think the
huh,
batting is solid, but I think for me the biggest negative factor is that their pace bowling is very very weak.
I
they
Like
don't
think
have
especially
spin as yeah,
Bravo and McCoy and Russell is solid.
I
I
think
think
spin is
spin might be a
spin.
bigger issue.
Yeah, but
but there is
for
no
me, like
spin.
there, I don't see anyone with a new ball who can actually like terrify other people. Like I feel because if even if you score like 180, 190, if like you let the other team get off to a flare of a start, then I think it has no point because then momentum will eventually carry them the game. So I feel like that the fast bowling is very weak. But yeah,
Just they don't have a spinner. I mean, if Fabian Allen is going to be the
Yeah, I
main
think
spinning
Lord
option,
Walsh Jr. might play, but yeah,
but again,
uh,
but in place of whom? I
tapered
mean,
off
if
after his breakout year in the
yeah,
CPL.
you need
I
two
think Pollard.
pacers.
Pollard has
Will
bowled himself
bowl a
a
lot.
lot
Yeah,
I
this
think their
World Cup.
strategy will simply just
Even
be
in
to
the
outscore the
CPL,
other team.
even in the
yeah,
CPL when he was captain, he bowled himself a lot. And in the pitches of like UA, especially like in the middle phase, when the pitches deteriorate a bit, I think his bowling like he won't leak runs. I feel he'll bowl like economical spells
yeah.
which will like that.
Yeah, they don't have spin, and surprisingly, the best spinner of IPL 2021 is available to them and not playing. Sunil
No,
Narayan is
that is
not going
because
to
of
be.
the
They
action.
say that he did not pass the fitness standard, yet they have 42-year-old Phil who I can't remember the last time I saw run on a field.
Will Gale play? Is
He
what
will,
I
He is too big
100% he will.
for West Indies. It may
Hmm.
not be the best like balanced choice or like meritorious choice based on form, but
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 if
they've
Gale doesn't
now
play, who plays
they
at
have actually
three?
yeah they've actually made the team around him, made the team with Gale at
I
three.
think if
So
Gale like they could
Hetmeyer
have
can play
Roston
three.
Chase come in and Hetman and Pooran could move up one spot and Chase could also provide
I
us.
think Roshan Chase will
In
play. I think he's been amazing in CPL. Like
hmm.
who
I
do
think he
you
was
drop in
amazing
the
with the
middle
ball and
order?
with the bat.
But
Like
where do
he
you
was,
play him in this
There
lineup?
is all of them are undroppable.
Yeah, all of them
In
yeah,
literally. I mean,
it has
Gale
to
is
be in.
probably the most droppable player
Yeah,
there.
Gale is the yeah.
yeah,
And
and
I
again,
think
as I
West
said,
Indies,
I really
I
wish
think
Sunil
Curtly
Narayan.
Ambrose tried to say that Gale's spot is not guaranteed, and Gale said, I have no respect for him anymore. I'm done with him. So clearly, Gale is not the best recipient of valid criticism. He just like the guy just said, Gale's spot isn't guaranteed, and Gale got
The
differently.
guy
So
left Punjab Kings because he had enough.
yeah, I
Anyway, so
don't
yeah,
think like they will drop Gale, but yeah, I think it's a very boom or bust lineup. Like on their day, they could make 220. On not their, if it's not their day, they could make 80 or so. I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I wouldn't be surprised if
Do you
they
see them
can't
beating
win.
Australia?
oh, very easily. I
Yeah,
mean,
so could go either way. But I do think the death bowling between Bravo, Russell, and McCoy is very good. Their new ball bowling and their spin bowling may be an issue.
yeah, I mean,
Like
I
Fabian
still
Allen and Walsh Jr. are not going to care.
exactly. I mean, if they had Sunil Narayan in this lineup in this his
Yeah,
current
then they
form,
would definitely be favorites.
and
They
then
would
I
bat
mean,
all the way down to 10.
exactly. And if you had, but obviously they don't have it. Good for us. And moving on to the next team, which is South Africa again, fallen giants. Um, I was watching the documentary on Hansi Cronje the other day and remembering the great days of South Africa, Alan Donald, John Tiro, Jack Carles, and all that. And here we have Quinton de Kock, Temba Bavuma, who's going to open in T20 cricket.
Captain
Yes, he is going to open in T20 cricket.
And he's like a
Aiden
South
Mark,
African
and
Pujara.
captain the side as well.
yeah, and captain as well. Aiden Markram, who came to play for Punjab Kings, played ODI innings there
He was
in a
pretty good for
T20.
Punjab, to be honest. Like
Yeah, but played ODI still.
no,
Punjab standards like
Punjab
Punjab
standards.
520
standards
runs is
good.
good in middle order.
Punjab middle order standards good. Punjab middle order standards is anything basically. Puran gives them 0-0-0. So then there is Van der Dusen, Rassi Van der Dusen, who were really impressed in the World Cup, the 2019 World Cup.
again ODI player.
Miller somehow still finds his way into all lineups after years
He's
and years
been
of
pretty good for
disappointment.
South Africa at least lately. Like constant
Lately, yeah,
Tigers loss.
that's his thing. He is pretty good just when you think he's dropping off. Then Andre Klassen, Dwayne Pretorius. This, I mean, yeah,
Good
that's the
thing we're
problem.
not in their group. The
They,
Klassen has
they
a
they start
special love for
bowling.
India.
they start bowling from 7. Pretorius, Rabada, Shamsi, Nokia, Maharaj. I mean, that is and Riza Hendricks, Vian Mulder, Fortune, and Ngidi on the bench. So, what do you think about this lineup, guys? I mean, yeah.
I think the only way they're winning is if they get quick, like 3-4 wickets in the power play, which they can on that day because of not get Rabada. But there's no way they're scoring like 180, 190. There's literally nowhere. This is an awful lineup. You cannot drop Faf. Like ODI,
Yeah, I think
there's
they
no,
could
there's
field
no,
a
there's
better
zero
11
intent
with the
11.
players who are not even in this squad.
Exactly.
Like,
This is zero
you could
intent
keep
11.
Faf,
Like
De Villiers, Morris, Tahir, make a lineup around those guys.
Yeah, actually, there are what Siddharth said. There are 0 batsmen in this. I mean, Miller, of course, you can say, but Miller is so inconsistent. But there is literally 0 batsmen you can think of as a
Peacock
world cricket
basically needs to
superstar.
score 100 every
I
game for
think
them to beat Australia, England, or
I think De Kock will bat like Rahul this World Cup, like Rahul
Yeah.
bats in Punjab team because of the middle order. I think this is what Quinton de Kock
Markram at least is used to that already.
for South Africa.
But why did they leave out Morris? Has he retired or?
No, he's just like doesn't
बहुत
play
पैसे
for
मिल
those
गए
guys
उसको.
with like fitness issues, so they
have,
prefer to pick players who play for them all year round.
Yeah. So they have moved on from Imran Tahir, Faf du Plessis, Morris. Where did that guy go? Andile Feklukwai? Is he not
He's
play?
a traveling
What I say,
reserve.
I was so happy he wasn't included. What a fraud.
He's a traveling reserve, like one, but not in the main 15.
What a
Worse than
fraud.
Shivam Dube. Worse than
Now they have
Shivam Dube.
Temba Bavuma for the quota, so I guess they could get rid of Kakkapaya.
Amazing. Any thoughts? I mean, we've probably rejected South Africa like too much already. But seriously, look at their bowling. Does Pretorius bat properly? I mean, is he an all-rounder? I
Pretorius
don't
is
think
like
he is.
bowling all. I mean,
He's like a Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
more of a bowling all-rounder than a batting all-rounder, but not really.
They really
So
they
only-
really stop batting at 6, man. It's horrible.
They really stopped batting at 1 for me.
Yeah, like I don't rate Bavuma and but the only thing is their bowling is good. Like you see,
Yeah.
But
But-
Rabada
bowling
is
is
also
good.
off form. Shamsi got exposed in the IPL. Maharaj has played 3 T20 international with his
and
lifetime.
apparently he's the
And he's
vice
the
captain
vice
of the
captain.
team. Yeah.
Because they don't have
But-
any options. De Kock doesn't want to
But
have any
how-
responsibility.
But what has
Uh,
happened to the South African cricket? Like they had a good core of players, but
They still do have a good core of players. They're just on the next flight to Cape Town.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's been so many people have come out and said Boucher is not the right coach, and still Boucher is somehow the coach. Like it's unbelievable how how
Graham
the board is
Smith
still
friends.
talking
I
about.
think if they incorporated those 4 players, they could be one of the dark horses. But I guess you can't be chokers if you don't reach the knockout stage again.
and what was the reason that they give for not selecting Faf?
No
They
reason.
said Faf is not a CSA contracted player; he's a free agent. So they said like it's like tough to work things out with free agents, and they say that they didn't pick him because he didn't play in the series before, while he was available for the series, and they did not pick him. So it doesn't.
But
really
I think
make sense.
it's
Faf
a bit on
specifically
both
retired from
sides.
Test cricket, saying that he wants to play the next 2 World T20s. Missed out on the orange cap by 2 runs.
I like how we didn't mention AB de Villiers even once.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the AV
De
Villiers they've
Villiers as
moved
well
on.
showed interest
and-
in coming back for the World T20.
Finish
Yeah.
up.
But again, the
South
problem
Africa
is,
World.
but there is a problem, right? You can't not play regularly and just show interest, which ABD did show interest when it's
And
close to
it
World
worked
Cup.
for West Indies in 2012 and 2016. Don't play regularly, just show up for the World Cup, and you know what?
West Indies are a different team, and
I think,
they had a different
the
leader.
free agent situation, maybe South Africa are also heading that way.
Maybe, but West Indies have dragged themselves out of it, and they had an
Yeah.
inspirational leader in 2012 and 16 anyway.
Yeah, now they have.
Now they have
Not
Pollard,
But-
who's good, but
yeah,
see, we've only seen him for.
and
yeah,
yeah,
Piyush.
and at the time they were having the issues with the board. Correct, West Indies
Yeah, they're
players.
having contractual issues. South Africa are also having similar
Hmm.
players are
But
not happy with the quota
Looking at
system.
the squad of South Africa, only way they can win is what Siddharth mentioned. If their bowling performs, like they are too heavily dependent on their bowlers.
But that batting is not
Shamsi,
going to make 120, 130 against good bowling at
Yeah,
least.
it's like even in the 2019 World Cup, they even had Faf, and it was like every time Faf and De Kock got out, they would middle over they would lose 4 or 5 wickets.
I feel like in every game, yeah, the power play, like their game depends on the power play in bowling, because
Yeah.
if they can put team under pressure in the power play, then they have a chance. Otherwise, there's no chance.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Yep.
I
Anyway,
think we can move on to
moving on
number
to
one.
my favorite team, my favorite pick for this World
Yes,
Cup.
so West Indies की favorite team. 2 minutes है.
Malayas,
West
KKR.
Indies.
Exposed.
West Indies is matlab nature of play I love for West Indies and England. England I like more than West Indies in this group. Okay.
But what
So
is
moving
India?
on to England, 11, Timal Mills got selected first of all out of nowhere, but that's the team that they have: Joss Butler, Jason Roy, David Malan, Bairstow, Morgan, Livingston, Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid, Jordan, Mark Wood, Timal Mills, Vokes, Willie, Tom Curran, and Sam Billings are the four reserves, four expected on the bench. This is
I
a
think Vokes
fantastic lineup.
will play instead of Mills, is what I believe. No
I
way
think they will
Jordan and
probably
Mills both
rotate
are
the
playing.
pacers around.
They don't need Mills because Jordan and Wood already bowl 145 plus.
But
Yeah,
but Mills is a
has
good
those
death bowler, I
variations in
think.
the death that Wood doesn't. So I think it would be like Jordan and Mills would bowl in the death, and
But
Wood
no way
or
Vokes
Wood
is getting
bowl.
dropped, I believe.
Oh yeah, I think Woke might play over Wood, but they might stay like based on the opposition they tend to.
Yeah, this is a fantastic team. The only question mark that we have is again Livingston frauded his way for Rajasthan when he was playing in the UAE.
For
Morgan
England,
can't
he
buy
was
a run.
giving 100 or 40.
Yeah, for England, I mean, but that was in England. That was not in UAE.
Yeah.
Morgan can't buy a run even if he like bet his 2019 World Cup trophy on it. He couldn't still get a run. But the top four is really good. I mean, I don't know about Malan. Malan last year when he played in the IPL there again was up and down, run a ball. So
Even
when
in
you
India, he was not very like he's been in poor form all around. He flopped in the BBL where literally everyone does that.
I feel like new camp, new atmosphere. I feel like
yes,
I get a sense of Morgan and Livingstone getting like will get back in form. They eventually like they
Yeah,
won't
I
fraud their way
think
to
like
the
the
World Cup.
England setup is very different
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like they play in a different breath, like different forms. So I think they would have a higher level of confidence in that setup. But yeah, I would also personally drop Malan and move Moeen Ali up to 3 because he like fits more into their ethos of cricket than somebody like Malan who is a very slow starter does.
But
any
wasn't
other
Malan number one T20 batsman at the time?
Yeah, Babar
Yeah.
Azam is number 2. It obviously
Don't
favors.
trust ICC.
So
man.
Babar Azam is a
Virat Kohli
great
is number
batsman.
3.
What's the
All
problem
3 are
with
stat padders. So, doesn't mean a lot. Tabrez
KL?
comes in number 1 in T20 bowling rankings. Went for
But I think England is a very balanced squad when you look at all
even
the
despite
positions.
missing 2 really big players in Ben
Yeah,
Stokes
Stokes and
Sam Curran,
Archer.
and
Yeah.
Archer.
And so if you have those three, that I think England are the front favorites to win the World Cup if they had those three. But still, if you are looking at the squad, if you look at the opening batsman Butler and Loy, you are expected like in every match you will have a power play score of 55, 60 easily. Like I believe Butler and Roy, and then you have Johnny Bairstow, David Milan, and Livingstone. I'm not even counting. They're playing with 10 man. I'm not even counting Morgan. So Morgan is just there for captaincy, and so but I believe that is a very important factor in a T20 game, like everyone has said.
And if they play Vokes over Wood, they bat until 10-2, which is like plays into their ethos. Like everybody keeps hitting.
Yeah, even Mills can hit actually.
And Mills has a lot. I think Mills is also probably picked because of his experience in UAE. I read an article that aside from his home ground in Sussex, the most he has scored anywhere is Dubai. He plays those T10 PSL leagues a lot. So he has those change of faces as well that got him a 12 crore or something IPL contract that one time.
Yeah, and somehow Tom Curran still finds a way into big squads of big teams. Anyway, David Willey as well there. I really like him, but I don't think they're going to play him over Jordan.
No.
And Vokes does what he does well. Like Willie is a power play
Swing bowler, yeah.
Yeah, but Willey is left arm, which is a difference. But now they've got Mills there, so I don't think Willey comes over there. But again, a pretty balanced side. But as I said, I think personally, I feel it can be a hit or miss. I mean, Morgan, Livingston, Malan, these are three people who've been out of form. Bairstow, Roy, Matla. I mean, they're all not UAE players, but I get a feeling the pitches in the UAE are going to be very good for batting.
Roy played well for SRH.
Yeah,
when
Butler
But I
played,
feel
did well
all
for
these players are
Rajasthan that you gave
experienced enough
played
to
last.
adapt. Like all
Hmm.
these players are experienced enough to adapt. Like even if they don't score at 200, they'll score like a 170 on a 150 pitch, which is
Hmm.
good enough for a win. So I
Yeah,
feel like
and their
all
bowling
these
attack is
experienced, yeah.
pretty strong too, despite missing
Yeah,
Archer.
Moeen,
They
Rashid.
have pretty good balance. They have an off spinner, leg spinner.
But I
super
don't know
bowling.
how good is Timal Mills. Like in IPL, he got exposed. He
He's
got
been in
wrecked
pretty good
badly.
form in T20 cricket around the world recently.
Okay,
And
around
he
the world
might,
is like
slower balls might suit UAE pitches.
I remember seeing. I think Mills was in RCB one season,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you
and
stop judging
with
a player.
Jordan. Yeah. So I was at Chinnaswamy, was seeing them get wrecked by Hardik Pandya. I remember Rohit Sharma.
Also,
Hardik
RCB
Pandya.
may happen to a lot of players.
But
So
yeah, but
there are two teams that if a player plays for them, you don't judge them: RCB and Punjab Kings. You can be the worst player for Punjab Kings, but you can still be
I
a
watched.
world beater.
Yeah, if there was one weakness you had to point out, it would be the spinners. But then I think in the entire group A, if you look at it, there are no like spinners you would rely on except maybe like here, like maybe like Zampa or like only
Yeah, I
Zampa
would say
basically.
Rashid is probably better than Zampa or Shamsi or Walsh.
Exactly. You
No, I was
cannot
saying only group
judge
A.
Rashid based
Oh,
on
yeah.
PVKs. Punjab Kings is a
Yeah,
great.
Rashid is
super
favorite
for.
Malay's favorite spinner, I believe.
I mean, I don't rate him that highly, but in this group, he's probably the best spinner.
Yeah, only maybe in the group. Yeah.
Not much
Yeah.
to choose from.
Rashid played for Punjab, no?
Yeah, he played one or two
One
games.
match.
How many games? Two.
One match.
He played 2 games, one or two.
I think one.
And Malay was like best spinner is finally
And I don't
getting
even think he
the
bowled his quota.
chance.
I went for like.
No,
40
that
runs.
people who
But yeah,
didn't bowl
you
his
can't
quota
judge people
were
on the 11 Punjab.
Ravichandran Ashwin. Yeah, if Ashwin
But
doesn't
I
bowl.
think how two teams qualify per group.
Yes,
for
Yeah.
semi-final?
yes. And we're
So
expecting maybe
is-
Sri Lanka and Scotland to join them.
But those two
Yeah,
will
I
be
think
irrelevant, I believe.
Scotland will be where like whipping boy Sri Lanka, like Hasaranga, if the pitches are turning.
I
might
think
be
Sri
a
Lanka can
matchup.
win a couple. Sri Lanka can definitely beat
But
South Africa. I
They
mean,
might beat South Africa if Hasaranga can run.
Sri Lanka's batting is too shit, man.
and
It's
Sri
too
Lanka
bad.
can beat Australia as well. I feel.
Sri Lanka's best batsmen are sitting at home because they got banned for a year.
If South Africa have an ODI batting and Sri Lanka have a test batting, it's so bad. Like Sri Lanka's batting is so bad.
But
think
but
they'll be very
who,
poorly.
who do you think like are the top two favorites to qualify from this group?
Good
I
question.
would say England for sure would be my favorite for the first spot, especially if they make the smart decision and drop David Malan, play Sam Billings down the order, promote Moeen Ali or Livingston. Second one, I think, would come down to Australia versus West Indies, and that one really hard to call.
Malay, what
Depends
do you
on
think?
what the
Interesting.
track is for that given day.
I think.
Malay will say West Indies, England.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. West Indies, England. I think West Indies, England both have just too much firepower to not go through this
Yeah, it
group
could be
over
like
6
one
teams.
or you have one off day and you could be going home.
To be like
But not in this group. I think in this group there will be a lot of points shared, and that's where
No, but like let's say England, let's assume England beat everyone, Australia and West Indies beat everybody but England. Basically comes down to Australia versus West Indies.
Australia and West Indies' last game in their group stage is against each
Yeah,
other.
I would
So it
imagine
could be
that
a-
might be a
so
it
might
could
be
be a
might
virtual
be fixing
quarterfinal.
done because to make it a virtual.
Could be a
that's-
virtual quarterfinal. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
But-
was just
but-
looking at it.
I would say Australia and England are qualifying. West Indies are not qualifying.
Interesting pick. So yeah, I think
It's basically power versus like stability, I guess. I mean,
But this
Australia,
is going
they
to be
have
a
lot of units.
this is going to be a
West
fantastic group.
Indies, Vice Captain Pooran already said we're not going to bother with singles because six hitting is a formula that has worked for us. So
Yeah,
automatically.
it has worked a lot for Puran. Like he has scored 500 runs in all the IPLs with his sixes. Got
It again,
team to-
Punjab Kings tag.
Punjab Kings players you just don't take seriously. That's
You agree
Anyway.
with that?
Anyway, Punjab Kings तो documentary बनना चाहिए. Anyway, so that's pretty much about Group A. Once again, Australia, England, South Africa, West Indies, expecting Sri Lanka and Scotland to join them. And I think this is going to be a fantastic group. Such a long time after which the T20 World Cup is happening, and really excited about
I
it.
can see any of these three teams lift the World Cup too, like the
Hmm,
top three teams
true.
in this group. So yeah,
True,
and
and
I think the winner will also come from this group.
yeah, I think so too. I really don't see anyone from Group
Possibly
2,
even both
which is
finalists might come from
Afghanistan.
this group.
That was a big call, but I definitely don't see Afghanistan, Pakistan, New Zealand, or even India winning the World Cup. I mean, till Virat Kohli is there, I mean, I don't think India do have a big chance to
That
win.
agenda can come in Group 2. Let that Group 1.
Yeah,
Yes, so that is all we have for you. Any closing comments, gentlemen?
No, so just excited about the T20 World Cup. Time to
Yeah.
get behind the nation.
and
Hopefully-
unlike IPL, it's not the same teams winning the T20 World Cup every time. So it's actually a tournament you can look forward with excitement.
It's actually one of the
It's
most
not
diverse World
Chennai
Cups.
or Mumbai Premier League. Only one team has won the T20 World Cup multiple times so far.
Chennai, Mumbai, or Kolkata Premier League. I mean,
Kolkata
12
was
out of
not-
14, 11 out of
It was
14.
7
Kolkata.
years
I added
Kolkata
Kolkata
won.
nicely.
No, 11 out of 14 titles are among these teams, so that's why I
7 years
added.
since Kolkata won.
Like Kolkata का shameless को लेता है.
Anyway, we are getting Lucknow, so it's going to become Lucknow Premier League very soon. And anyway, so as Siddharth said, time to back the nation, and really
Piyush
excited.
said.
One of
My Piyush
Piyush
said,
said,
but okay.
Piyush said, sorry, Piyush. Piyush said back the nation, and very diverse. I mean, the tournament, India, then what? Pakistan, England,
England.
West
2010,
Indies,
West
Sri
Indies 12,
Lanka, and West Indies.
West Indies.
And
So
five
West
different
Indies is the
winners.
only repeat winner.
Yeah, 5 different winners in 6 editions. I mean, there you have it. One of the best tournaments. I think from the moment 2007 World Cup started in T20, that was the moment that
We saw the Asia Cup get cancelled. Group 2 is basically an Asia Cup. Bangladesh also expected to qualify. So that's another
No,
tournament.
Asia. Pakistan
They
told that
couldn't. They couldn't hold Asia Cup this year, no. So they made it in the World Cup.
but Pakistan
Mini
is
Asia Cup.
telling they will
So
hold
that
the
is like Asia. Group 2
2023.
is new Asia Cup minus Sri
Mini
Lanka.
Asia Cup.
yeah. What is Pakistan telling Piyush?
That they are likely to host the 2023 Asia Cup. It's
Nice.
like
I
saying
think it
Virat.
जाएंगे.
It is more likely that the Asia Cup will be hosted in my backyard than in Pakistan.
Oh भाई, Canada Asia Cup.
I think now
Not
there
even
is
Canada, my backyard.
no way Pakistan is getting any cricket for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Especially 1 year before a general election, India is not traveling to Pakistan.
Yes.
And whatever is the thing, India won't play. That is
Yes.
sure.
Anyway,
And
we'll
if
keep
India
that.
doesn't play,
We'll
then
keep
Asia
Group
doesn't
2
play.
talks to the next episode. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the part 1 of the World Cup review and a little bit of IPL chit chatter as well. Hope you really liked the episode. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Instagram, then follow us. And yeah, that's it. Anyone else want to say something?
No, follow Piyush AFC on Twitter
Best Arsenal
and
content.
Instagram.
Ole out.
That's
Oh, Ole out. Ole out. That's a discussion for another day. So thank you so much for joining us, guys, and have a great day. Thanks for
Thank you,
watching.
guys.
Bye bye.